for coming to camp today. My name is Thad Johnson with ABC, and we're going to take a look at your video here. First thing that we're going to talk about is your balance position. I want to go ahead and just note that you're in a great position. Your weight is on your back side. Go ahead, and one thing we look for is just that your head and that back foot are pretty close to being in line. You know, your post leg and your head, if they're in line, it's going to tell us that your weight is sitting on that back side. I want to tell you just to be careful with when you lift, to make sure. I want you to make sure that your weight, okay, stays on the front of your foot, stays on the ball of your feet. It doesn't travel to the heel. As we move forward here into your directional phase of delivery, as you start to rotate through, you have a lot of your weight on the left side. You're going to have a little bit of a head snapping action off to the left, which is telling me that you may be on your heel just a hair, okay, because you start to get a little left, and there's some violent action with your head as you deliver the pitch. So just make sure that your weight stays on the front of your feet and you stay over your quads, okay, and you don't get back. You stay over your knees. Maybe that might help you as you make your way forward, just to stay over your, like I said, over your quads, over your knees a little bit more, and less on your heels. As we make our way forward, I want to also point out that you do a good job. Again, the one thing here, if you take a look at your hips, is they're tilted. Again, this is another key that I look for in pitchers, to make sure they're keeping their weight back. A good weight that's back, okay, will produce this hip tilt as guys make their way towards home plate. So that's another thing, Chase, that you do very, very well. And now this is where we start to see that head, okay? The head will start, and you see it right here. As you land, you're in a good position with your lower half, but your top half, okay, your top half is starting to open up just a little bit early. Okay, ideally what you'd like to see here when a guy lands is that their hips are slightly open, okay? Slightly open as yours are, if you just note your hips right there. But the top half, okay, needs to stay closed. The top half needs to stay closed, like a closed door, okay, not an open door. And if you pay close attention here, the one thing you'll notice is as you move forward, and I'm going to back this up and move it forward, you start to rotate everything at the same time. Your hips and your shoulders start to open up at the same time, okay? And you want to, your hips, it should go in order. Your hips will open first. You tell yourself, your mind's got to tell yourself to keep your top half closed up just as long as possible, okay? And they'll go ahead and open up. It's just a late rotation on the top half. This is going to keep you in line towards home plate. And this leads a little bit to what I was talking about earlier with just to make sure that your weight is on the front of your feet, okay, over your knees as opposed to your heels as you make your way towards home. Because if you look at this picture right here and you focus in on your head, okay, if you focus on your head, it is pointed, okay, it's pointed off to the screen right over here, and it should be nice and upright, pointed towards that catcher's target, okay, or home plate. So this is just an indication of where your weight is headed, okay, and it's a little bit left to center. But you're in a pretty good position. Again, you strong lower half. You're keeping your weight back, okay. It's just that top half needs to be over. You know, at this position, I'd like to say keep your top half, keep your chin over your belly button. Your chin is sitting on it's probably sitting in your left pant pocket right now. You'll see it even at this point right here as we move one frame closer. You see that head tilt, your body tilt, and now you're really trying to fight yourself to keep yourself upright as you bring your arm forward. The best drill, Chase, that I feel like you can do would be to get yourself in this position right here. Okay, move to 2 knees, so your chest up towards your target. You just put both knees on the ground, and you just play catch. And what you do is you warm up. You start to move your target further and further away from you, and try to accelerate the top half, keeping your body upright. From the ground up, you're gonna keep your upper torso straight up and down, and you're gonna keep your shoulders nice and level. Okay, nice and level. Get that line on there for you. So your shoulders should just be like that, as opposed to what we're seeing here, where your body's starting to take off a little bit, and you can see the angle of your elbow and your shoulders. You got this big time tilt going on, and really this is an injury prevention key to delivery. Not guys that get real over the top and clear their top half out of the way to get their arm throw start to experience some elbow problems. So that 2 knee drill will be imperative for you to clean this up. We move forward to the ball release phase. Okay, and right here you're in a great position. You stay long with that arm. We like to see that long arm through release, which is exactly what you have. You definitely don't cut off your delivery here. The one thing you do though, Chase, is you continue to go sink yourself into the ground, as opposed to really kicking your backside through. Okay, don't be so careful with the finish. I like to have our guys, my guys be real quick and aggressive through the baseball, and you just look a little timid. Your head's popping up like you're worried about if you're throwing the ball where you want it or not. After it's released, just let it go. Release the baseball, kick the backside through. Really use your legs through the baseball. And part of this too is just the fact that your body's falling over and you're fighting yourself just to keep upright. That you're putting a lot of pressure on your legs just to stay upright, as opposed to moving forward and kicking through the delivery. So that's the last thing that needs to get fixed. So if we back this up, we go to a little bit of review. Balance position. We want to go ahead and just stay over the rubber, over your legs. You do a great job of that. Make sure your weight is on the ball of your right foot, which is the front of your foot. We move forward. Weight's going to continue to stay back. You release your hands on time. It looks real good. Your head and your chest and your shoulders in an excellent position right here. But as you move towards home plate and you get a little bit further out there and you start to rotate, let's go ahead again. Stay over your belly button. Stay over your knees. You got to just tell yourself something that will keep you upright and not start peeling out to the left with that top half. Again, at release, that 2 knee drill is going to really clean this up for you. You're not going to head the head snap to the left. You're going to be nice and upright. Clean follow through, and then go ahead and kick through. Almost think to yourself, if you're going to throw the baseball with your lower half, what's it going to look like? Okay, and typically what you'll find is that where you release the ball, this will be the last thing we kind of touch upon, where you release the ball right here. So this is the release point. Okay, what you'll find oftentimes is that a guy that has a real good strong finish with their lower half, that point of release of the baseball, wherever their hand comes through, okay, looking back to front, that back foot will travel up towards that same exact release point, and you can see there's a significant difference, okay, in the two. I mean, this is as high as your foot's getting right here, and it should be heading up into this direction with a good strong finish with the lower half. So it's just something, over time, as you keep your weight in line and really get clean through the ball and really use your hips to rotate, get your lower half into the pitch a little bit, it'll start to clean itself up. So I want to thank you for coming to camp again, Chase. Hope to see you out there again sometime soon, and I hope you enjoyed yourself.